He has gone into animals. Now he wants to vaccine all animals in Kenya. Bloody stupid.
No one knows how to get cows to stop farting.
Exactly. Or burping.
Stupid. Kenya belongs to God.
Anybody opposing vaccination is simply mad and possibly stupid.
To Ruto and his regime, it is all about Kenyans, not about yourself. Stop getting angry and calling us names. Listen to what Kenyans are saying. Serve Kenyans, not Bill Gates.
So we need to change cows.
And nobody has the monopoly of science. I have a first-class honors.
And possibly stupid.
Who is Bill Gates? He wants to cure virus in coronavirus. You cure Microsoft virus. Misuse your Gopa Benadam. Stupid.
You're going to want to grab a drink for this, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going today? Welcome to the Speak and See Show. Please like, subscribe, and click that notification button so when we get information out, you can get information in. Kenya, right now, is literally what they're feeling like under siege by a president, William Ruto, who has been going off the deep end in many ways. Gen Z came along, everybody, the world saw Gen Z protests in Kenya as much as they could. I know the West and the United States was eliminating a lot of that footage, but Kenyans know what I'm talking about, and so does the majority of Africa. As the Gen Z protesters came along to say, Ruto, no more taxes. You can't go that high on taxes. Well, there are ways around it for William Ruto. And one way around it would be, well, Bill Gates, for example. Now that Meg Whitman is gone, Meg Whitman, I'm sure, call Bill Gates. He knows what to do. Here we are with the Kenyans going not nuts or fanatical, but they're putting their foot down on this one. My opinions on climate change are not 100% scientific or factual. I'm here just giving my opinion, but in doing that, let me just say the things that you hear in this content are not representative of my opinions or the channel or the Speak and See show. Just to let you know, there's my disclaimer. It's opinions of Kenyan people, congressmen. I guess it would be members of parliament over there, senators, and those of the National Assembly. However, I would like to introduce you to a few clips that I think are going to expose an area where the Kenyans may not be familiar with. I mean, some may be, some may not. A lot of Americans aren't familiar with the way it works here either. As far as who's writing the laws, how you're getting a little bit of money back in the side. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Kenya is livid. Let me just say that. Kenyans are livid. Please, once again, like, subscribe, and One Love. Join the One Love family here. Bill Gates is known for his work in vaccines and vaccinations, jabbing things and getting paid for it. In the field of science, I think he's well respected and well renowned, but he's also well known for having a lot of money. And how do you make a lot of money? You got to be a good businessman. Kenyans right now are on their last straw with William Ruto, as far as William Ruto wanting to tax the heck out of them, and they said, nope, that's not happening. So William's got to find another way for garnishing money, both for the government and for maybe himself. I don't know how the politicians over there are working, but let's go ahead and dive into this and see what the Kenyans are saying, and then we are going to get into how this is done as far as transferring money from, say, a Bill Gates to a president or a congressman or senator, a member of parliament, member of the National Security Council. How would they do that under the rug where nobody would know? Nobody knows how they do it. Well, we know how they do it. Let's take a look at what people are saying around in Kenya. The citizens, the people, pastors, things of that nature, like this gentleman here.
So the president and Bill Gates say they will join all Kenya's cows in competition.
Wanasema watadunga ng'ombe zote za Kenya shindano.
Like the Kajiado community, we have said that we will not allow the cows to be slaughtered. If you're going to get your dog back, and Mr. President,
you cannot force vaccination on people's cattle or sheep and goat without their consent. Haiwezekani.
One, before you have a vaccine, you have a disease.
Ugonjwa gani iko? Number two, why are you forcing it on people?
If we have foot and mouth, I am going to veterinary, I tell him to inject my cow while forcing a special vaccine.
Why are you forcing a special vaccine?
Created by Big Gates, funded 80% by the same person, and you want us to take that vaccine, Your Excellency, you want to introduce genetic internets.
Vaccine. Your Excellency, you want to introduce genetic implants?
It is dangerous for the milk product as well.
This gentleman is saying you cannot force it on us, and if you try to inject our cows, we will not sell those cows. We will not let you. You're not going to do it. You can't force it. We'll see how that works for them. Hopefully it does work. Now, Bill Gates is kind of a repeating record, a record that keeps skipping on this issue. Here's what his pitch for his cow vaccination is.
Cows are about 5% of global emissions, which is pretty unbelievable.
Wild.
And if your goal is to get to zero, you don't get to skip the cows. So there's a whole class of solutions of making meat without cows. Today, it doesn't taste as good and it costs too much. It's going through a little bit of a lull, but those companies, Impossible Beyond, Memphis, and others are pursuing that. In terms of the cows, we pursued many solutions. So one is to vaccinate the cows in a way that their gut bacteria that emit the methane, which is also called natural gas or CH4, which is the second most important greenhouse gas, you can vaccinate them and that species of bacteria isn't there. Their stomachs are very special because they can eat grass. It's a 3-stage fermentation process, basically. There's another way you can change what they eat, and you could either put that in their water or their feed. There is a drug to change the microbiome, not a vaccine, but a drug. That looks very promising. And then there's a solution where you stick a sort of a metal thing into the skin of the cow, and it actually burns the methane. And all of these look to be quite cheap and implementable even in Africa. And so this is one where I wasn't hopeful when I got started a decade ago. And now it's just a question of which solution for which country ends up being the best.
So Bill Gates is saying that he's got a method to stop the cows from farting and burping so much. Should that be forced? Since Bill Gates feels this way, should Bill Gates be able to? He is the one who wants to force these injections or this method onto the people in Kenya, per se. And he needs help. He needs help from a president of the country that wants to implement these things to climate change. Would it matter? I mean, he says 5%, then he says 6%. So we're not sure if he knows, if he's got all of the scientific evidence that can show that this would do that. But still, is it really up to Bill Gates whether Kenyans inject their cows or not? I don't know. You tell me. Now we're going to listen to another version of Bill Gates saying pretty much the same thing.
What happens with beef, my climate group, Breakthrough Energy, just announced literally today an investment in an Australian group called Ruminate that helps cows not be so much a source of methane emissions. So we have two paths to solving that. That's 6% of global emissions are cows who burp and fart methane to an extreme degree. You can either fix the cows to stop them doing that, or you can make beef without the cow. And both of those, will be pursued to see which one can lead to the best product in terms of taste, health, and cost.
So his goal is to stop the cows from burping and farting so much. That's the goal. That's the climate change action that I want to see. How about you? Please let me know in the comments below. There's a few more of these I do want to show you. However, with the current situation that is going on in Kenya right now, Ruto is untrustworthy to a lot of citizens there. And however, he feels like now is the time to start pushing, kind of bullying. He does this. Sometimes he gets in the defense mode and backs down for a little bit. And then next thing you know, he's bullying again. So here he has come out with his pitch on why he plans on implementing this.
So anybody opposing vaccination to eliminate FMD and PPR is simply mad and unreasonable and possibly stupid. I mean, honestly, how else can you explain?
So there he goes on calling Kenyans stupid, or anybody stupid, if you don't agree with vaccinating your cows. I remember this happening not long ago during COVID, where it was, you were stupid if you didn't get vaccinated. You were stupid, and you had to be punished by going against this system that was aggressive system that was punishing people for not getting vaccinated. So that's kind of what we're seeing. They can't make the people do it, so do they make the cows do it? And if it's beneficial to my health, I want everything beneficial to my health and to the public that can possibly be done. But there's a point of trust, I think, that the people have lost in William Ruto and Bill Gates. He really isn't the most trustworthy person in the world. I mean, and with Ruto joining hands with Bill Gates, and it's a bad look, because I remember there was a president of Niger, Bazoum, who also was joining hands with Bill Gates, and that didn't end too well, right? Okay, so he's still in captivity, I believe, but there are other presidents that around the region of Africa that have joined hands with Bill Gates, and most of them aren't really the most trustworthy presidents. A lot of them are considered to be puppets. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what a lot of people out there are saying. Now, people are mad in Kenya. This pastor here had said this, and it reflects a lot of people are feeling in Kenya right now about Bill Gates and the cow farts that he wants to make disappear and help the climate.
Millions of Africans should die, and he was so proud announcing it. Then you, Ruto, want to bring him to Kenya as if he's a dignitary, and you give him immunity. He won't get it in the name of Jesus. The Lord spoke to me this thing from 2019, 2020. Bill Gates should not be allowed to operate in Kenya. I have been saying it openly.
Bill Gates should not be allowed to even operate in Kenya. He is saying it, and he was saying he had visions and dreams from God, saying, watch out for Bill Gates back in 2019, 2020, who I think if you look at it 4 years later, a lot of those visions and dreams may have proven to be accurate. I don't know. I'm just here to give my opinion.
Wacha Ruto akatae maarifa yangu, wewe utaona. Maarifa yangu ni ya Mungu. Bill Gates is a bloody Satanist with an agenda. He speaks for the Antichrist. When I said this in 2019 and COVID, they blocked my Facebook account. When I said now he'll go into animals, He has gone into animals. Now he wants to vaccine all animals in Kenya. Bloody stupid. Stupid. Kenya belongs to God. Kenya belongs to God. And nobody has the monopoly of science. I have a first-class honors in forensic science. We know science. Real science does not destroy life. Real science backs up the Bible. Real science backs up life or preserves life. Bill Gates is after altering DNAs. Hii kitu nimeimba tangu 2019. 2020 nikakaa mjinga mpaka nikaambiwa na utashikwa. Because you're going against the government orders. Nikasema, which government? I am from the heavens, I'm from government of heaven. COVID ilikuwa mchezo ama ilikuwa mchezo? Ilipangwa, not that it was not there, it was there, but it was produced by idiot Bill Gates and Akina Fauci and the vaccines they were fighting for. Those vaccines, did they work or not? They didn't work. Have they messed up people's health? Have they messed up people's lives? When I said these things before they happened, nikaambiwa wewe tulia. We have professionals. Who's professionals? Did you go to school to become stupid? Who is Bill Gates? He wants to cure virus in coronavirus. You cure Microsoft virus. Mi siwezi ogopa binadamu. Stupid. Sababu ni mzungu. Stupid. Huyu ndio mtu alisema Waafrika wanafaa kukufa mamilioni. Millions of Africans should die. And he was so proud announcing it. Then you, Ruto, want to bring him to Kenya as if he's a dignitary.
Yeah, that was pretty deep, you know. That's pretty explicit in many ways. Now, what he's saying is what a lot of Kenyans are saying about Bill Gates. You know, just get out, don't deal with Bill Gates. We don't want anything to do with him. Did the vaccines work? I think they worked for some people. Did they work for everybody? I don't know. I don't think they worked for everybody. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm just here to give my opinion. But were they forced on people? Yes, they were. And it was a really bad time in the world, a confusing time for people. And a lot of people have just kind of gotten angry about that. But is William Ruto, who has just killed 60 of his own people, let's not forget, during a protest, and ends up impeaching his vice president, and he's still there. When Ruto must go was the big call of the Kenyans and the Gen Zers, but Ruto said, no, it's not me that must go, it's this other guy. But it wasn't the other guy must go, hashtag, it was Ruto must go. He's still there. He's still there, and he seems to be wanting to dip into that little bucket before, his time is over. I don't know. Let's go ahead and listen to another lady, and then I'm going to tell you exactly, I'm going to go over how the money would be brought in to Ruto under the rug. Anyway, so stick around after, right, we'll talk about that right after you hear this lady, what she had to say, because I'd like to hear what all the Kenyans from all sides have to say.
To Ruto and his regime, remember, it is all about Kenyans, not about yourself. Stop getting angry and calling us names. Listen to what Kenyans are saying. Serve Kenyans, not Bill Gates, not other foreigners. Serve Kenyans and observe the Constitution. Stop abducting Kenyans and abducting foreigners like Besigye. We want to live in peace within us as Kenyans and with our neighbors. All corners of Kenya. We are suffering because of bad leadership. We have no option but to confront the elephant in the room, which is bad leadership. And one way of doing so is holding our leaders to account. Let the people hold their local MCA to account on things happening within the ward, their governor to account, their MPs to account, on the use of CDF and on the things passed in Parliament. We are going for Christmas very sad because we know the Finance Bill 2024, rejected by Kenyans, has been returned through the back door. And we know there is going to be a lot of hardship as we cross to the new year.
So there we go. And she's spot on with a lot of it, I feel. Once again, just my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Now, when she was talking about the They didn't pass the 2024 bill, but a lot of it went through the back door. Well, when you see a gentleman like Bill Gates, who is he's just out for your best interest. He just wants to help you. He doesn't care about the profits on his on his companies. He doesn't care about the money. He's got plenty of money, so he doesn't want more, right? Of course not. Why would he want more? What we saw in America, 2021 in August, was a picture-perfect picture of Bill Gates when he went on to pledge $1.5 billion for climate change out of his own pocket. Okay, $1.5 billion Bill Gates said, I am going to give you for climate change. But only, here's the part where I would like to talk to you about in Kenya, because I'm sure they operate the same way we do with these things. You know, let's be honest. The corrupt politicians are corrupt politicians. But he said, but only I'll do 1.5. I'm willing. I would love to give just $1.5 billion for climate change, but only if Biden signs a $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. Why? But only if Biden signs a $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, because the infrastructure bill was probably about what? How big was that? I don't remember exactly. Was it like 14,000 pages long that nobody could read? And inside that bill somewhere was Bill Gates' profit money. $1.5 billion he offered for free in order for you to sign a $1.2 trillion, which is $1.2 trillion. $1.5 billion is 1,500 million, but it's 1.2 trillion is 1,200 billion dollars. $1,200 billion. Sign that, and I'll give you 1.5 billion. The book opens up. The book opens up here. And let me just read a quick article from Forbes, if I could. Delight you on that. It came out on August 12th, 2021 at 9:08 a.m. Billionaire Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates on Thursday pledged $1.5 billion for joint projects with the federal government to help fight climate change as part of the proposed initiatives in the Senate's $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, but suggested his funds could go to other countries if the bill, which still faces uncertain fate in Congress, doesn't end up getting passed. So if he couldn't get it passed here through the proper channels of government, he was going to take it somewhere else. Speaking to Wall Street Journal, Gates said his climate-focused nonprofit investment firm, in a nonprofit firm, let me just explain this to you. 10% of your proceeds have got to go literally into your company. You can keep 90% of a non-for-profit program. You can keep 90% of the funds. The churches and everybody out there know what I'm talking about. You can keep 90% for your staff and your lighting and to build up on your company. Anyway, Gates said his climate-focused nonprofit investment firm Breakthrough Energy Catalyst could use the investment to fund projects aimed at lowering greenhouse gas emissions over a period of 3 years. So cows farting and less cows burping and farting for 3 years. And that would help the climate, apparently. The 65-year-old philanthropist said the infrastructure bill's $25 billion provision for climate-focused demonstration projects, which are small-scale projects used to demonstrate a technology's impact. So they're going to use $25 billion of that to test, to see how well the $1.5 billion is doing. A technology's impact are a key developed to new technologies, test the project's viability, and eventually drive down the market price of clean energy. Gates said he would be super disappointed if the bill doesn't pass, and warned large demonstration projects could then again traction in Europe and Asia, which means the U.S. could lose out on an early lead in the industry. In addition to the $25 billion, the infrastructure deal would authorize about $73 billion to expand power transmission grid to better carry renewable energies, and $21 billion to clean up old industrial and energy sites. Crucial quote here. Listen here. Critical for all these climate technologies is to get the costs down to be able to scale them up to a pretty gigantic level, Gates said Thursday. You'll never get that scale up unless the government's coming in with the right policies. And the right policy is exactly what's in the infrastructure bill. That bill did end up passing. And look what happened to the American economy. And has the green gas emissions gone down, or have cows stopped their intestinal and emissions coming from their bodies? I don't know. I don't think so. But America's in much further debt. Much further debt. And I guess America's supposed to be rich or something like that. The government is. A lot of the people aren't. But I know if America was poor, I definitely wouldn't be hoping that bill passed, because it would just make people more poor. And cows care less if they were farting too much. I don't know about you, but that's just my opinion, which could be wrong. It could be right. Please let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe and click that notification button so we get more information out. You can get information and watch your... Oh, let me just say this too. Okay. Your members of parliament, or your senators, and those in the parliaments, a lot of them don't know what's being written up in those bills. Presidents, as far as almost every country, including senators and congressmen and representatives, they have what's called, usually, are offices in their office, other offices for attorneys that are sitting there, attorneys, lawyers that are writing out bills for money to bring in. So as these things are being written, a lot of members of parliament and MPs and senators aren't really getting the information until that gets put on their desk to read it. And most of the time the stacks are like that big and they don't go through it all. So they just sign it so that they avoid a default in the budget. They avoid defaulting the government, and they scare the people into saying, oh, we're going to go into default. We're going to go into default. Yeah. If we do that, we're just going to have to pay more money, and then we're not going to be able to borrow as much money. The interest is going to go up and all that other stuff. So you have to sign it. That's how they get you. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as the young lady was saying in the video, hold your representatives accountable. Hold your presidents accountable. And I hope that this information helped. I hope it educated, entertained, and documented what I feel and how the world is feeling right now with the leadership that's in place everywhere. So, Kenya, I'm praying for you. God bless you. We love you here. We're going to continue fighting for you and getting the information out as best as we can. You guys in Africa, keep that revolution going strong. One love, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.